Hi, and welcome to One Acadiana's Candidate Conversation Series. I'm Keely McGivney, and this is Andre Bro on the team here at One Acadiana. We're bringing you candidate conversations so that you can get to know those who are running to represent you for offices across Lafayette Parish.
That's right. And for this conversation, we're joined by Clyde Gabriel, candidate for Lafayette Parish Council District 5. Clyde, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed the opportunity to get the public to know more about me, and I appreciate you taking the time to invite me, and let's get this started.
Well, why don't we start by just telling the audience a little bit about yourself and your background in the community.
My name is Clyde Gabriel. I am a native of Lafayette, Louisiana, born and raised. I was educated in the Catholic school system. Upon graduating high school, I matriculated to Southern University, where I obtained 2 degrees. Afterwards, I got involved in different areas of employment that took me all over the country. After that, I came back home and began the process of becoming involved in my community. I felt it necessary that I do something to contribute to the community that when I came back home, it seemed somewhat blighted. And I just felt that the best way for me to try to make a difference was just to get involved and see how I could contribute. So, yeah, I became involved with grassroots organizations like Voters Organize to educate, Black Voters Matter, somewhat the Parole Project, anything that piqued my interest in terms of, I guess the best way to say it, just helping those who could not help themselves, no matter what it was, whether you were disenfranchised through, criminal behavior, mental illness, illiteracy, whatever it was, I wanted to do something to help those who could not help themselves. So that's why I got involved with those particular organizations. I'm sure there are others that I'm forgetting, but yeah, that's been my goal ever since I came back to my community.
Well, it's great to get to know a bit more about you and your background. And as you talk about, wanting to get more involved in the community, what inspired you to run for public service? Why parish council?
Well, the thing was, I was approached. I never really, although I majored in political science in college, that was for different reasons, but I was approached by a few people initially in the community, and they were like, well, we think you'd be a good candidate. And I was like, no, the politics was never my thing because I felt you had to have a certain demeanor in order to run for political office. Little did I know that 200 and something people later who are like, we need you to run for office. You can be the spokesperson for our concerns in the community. And I was somewhat convinced, but it wasn't until I actually had a moment to just sit back and reflect and kind of consult with my higher power. And I was convinced that he or she was telling me that, yes, this is what I want you to do at this time in your life. So after some spiritual conviction, I made the decision that I would go into it and go into it with everything I had, every fiber of my being. So, excuse me, I want to be a voice for the constituents of District 5 who felt somewhat neglected over the past 3.5 years. That's what they've communicated to me. That's the void I choose to try to fill by running for this office with my candidates. So that's my intent.
As you think about being a voice for the constituents of District 5, are there specific priorities that rise up for you? And we'll start with short-term priorities.
Short-term goals, definitely drainage. Parts of Carencro and the Derby Heights subdivision, which is closer to the parish line, are of main concerns for the people that I've spoken to. They cannot seem to get any results in their efforts to, secure their homes when it comes to flooding, particularly in the Derby Heights subdivision. Many of the constituents of District 5 who live in that area are very disappointed in the lack of response. There was an attempt by the city to at least begin the process to do something with that coulee that runs behind most of their homes. But unfortunately, it only covered 2 or 3 or a small percentage of the homes back there. And they were very disappointed and very disgruntled by the whole process, given that we're back. initially, this all began with 2016 flood. Then we had another one, I believe it was in 2019, according to them. And they're like, we're in 2023 and we still don't have a solution. And that's just very upsetting to the residents of that neighborhood. So that will be one of my short-term goals. In terms of long-term goals, I want to do more in terms of developing funding for the infrastructure of the north side of District 5. By no means am I excluding what happens on the south side, because I am aware that there are a lot of developments and successful projects in that area, as they are needed. So I have no problem with that. My problem is that it seems that portions of the north side of District 5 have been neglected beyond belief. And it's like they have no voice. It's like their representative or those who represent them on the city and parish councils have not spoken up. And I feel their pain. I feel their grief. I want, that's why my mantra for my campaign is I want to be the voice for your concerns. So infrastructure, drainage in terms of short-term goals, definitely more relations between the community and the police department. I think it's important that we have a better relationship between those that police us and the ones that they are policing. We have so many incidents, unfortunately, where police are forced to use extreme violence. And I am not questioning their tactics, because I know that their job is difficult in and of itself. But I just think there has to be a median somewhere where we can reach, so that we can have better relations between the police and the community they serve. So those would be my three main goals at the moment.
Well, you talked about your short-term priorities, you talked about your long-term priorities, and a lot of those have to deal, will always deal with growth. And Lafayette was one of those parishes that grew after the last census. And so in the work that we do as economic developers, we talk to folks who are seeking to come to our community or considering coming. If you were talking to someone who was considering moving to the parish or to your district, what would you tell them about Lafayette Parish?
Lafayette Parish is growing. It has tremendous opportunity for growth in terms of economics, and just a good place to raise your kids. We have a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of our educational system, but that's a whole different arena that I unfortunately have nothing to do with outside of just giving it my input. But we have good schools. There's room for improvement, no doubt. But definitely economic stability, the opportunity for economic growth. I would definitely advise anyone, individual or business, that's considering moving to the Lafayette Parish area, please do it. Things are going to get better. That is my hope and my prayer, and I choose to work towards that end. So I would not discourage anyone from coming here. I definitely encourage anyone who's interested. Please come and look forward to, the optimistic outcome that I see coming on the horizon for our parish.
Awesome. Well, as we start to wrap up, is there anything else you would like to say to the voters of District 5 about why they should choose Clyde Gabriel for Lafayette Parish Council?
It's a loaded question. Okay, but definitely, listen, for those who know me, then I don't have to say anything. They know my work speaks for itself, and the things I've done in the community and will continue to do. Those who know me, that's good. For those of you that don't, either get to know me or you can Google me and find out about me. But here's what I will tell you directly. I am concerned about the community. I am concerned about the youth of our community and the elderly of our community in particular. Now, I know that seems to single out two classes of people without any mention towards those who are actually active participants in what happens in our community. But know that those who can fend for themselves do. I am more concerned about those who are unable to protect or fend for themselves. That is what I want to do in the community, the elderly and the youth. I want to make sure that all of their needs and concerns are met. Doesn't exclude anyone else, but know that if you need me, I am here, I am transparent, and I am accessible. Whatever your needs are, feel free to communicate them to me at any time, any place. I'm available.
Well, great. And speaking of that communication and getting in touch with you, the final question that we ask all of our candidates is, how can voters get in touch with you? How can they get more information on your campaign before they look to make their decision in October?
Absolutely. I have a Facebook campaign page called Campaign to Elect Clyde Gabriel. It's on Facebook. If you're a friend on Facebook, or if you have access to Facebook, you can connect with me on that page or on my personal page, Clyde Gabriel. My number is available for the public, 337-781-9826, for any questions you may have related to campaign, the community, the district, anything related to these issues. Feel free to call me. It's an open number. I will accept your calls and try to answer your questions to the best of my ability.
Well, thank you so much, Clyde. We really appreciate your time spent with us today to help the community get to know you. And all right, everyone, that was Clyde Gabriel joining us. He's a candidate for Lafayette Parish Council, District 5. Clyde, thank you so much again for joining us. Good luck in the weeks ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you both for having me. I appreciate it.